Thinking of moving abroad? Are you picturing margaritas on the beach and never paying sky high rent again? Well, here's a reality check. You'll be facing challenges you never knew existed before. But let's say you've decided to pack up your life, hop on a plane, and reinvent yourself in some exotic new land. Bravo! But before you get too comfortable picturing yourself sipping cocktails on the beach every afternoon, let me rain on that fantasy parade for just a minute. Moving abroad is not just a vacation with better food. It's messy, it's complicated, and it will test your sanity in ways you didn't know were possible. But here's a spoiler alert. It's all worth it. I've been through it all and came out on top. Hi, I'm Kate. Welcome to my channel, Kate's Wandering Thoughts. If it's your first time here, thanks for dropping by, and I hope you'll like and subscribe. That really helps my channel grow. So, okay, ready? Let's dig into the typical expat challenges because someone has to tell you the truth. And spoiler alert, it isn't the glossy brochures from relocation agencies, but it is worth every bit of culture shock. You're going to face language barriers. Or, what the heck did you just say? Let's start with the obvious. Yeah, language barriers. Unless you're moving somewhere that speaks your language, and even then, good luck with the accents and dialects. You're going to spend the first 6 months sounding like a toddler who can't find their juice box. You'll master important words like beer, toilet, margarita, Wi-Fi password, but everything else will feel like a linguistic nightmare. Ordering food? Surprise, you just asked for extra intestines instead of extra noodles. Need to buy laundry soap? Well, congratulations. You've just walked out with floor cleaner. And no, charades and wild hand gestures, which work sometimes, but they don't always work. Sometimes locals just stare at you like you've lost your last marble. And then there's paper purgatory. Yeah, paperwork is even more frustrating than at home. Yeah, bureaucracy. The international language of suffering. Doesn't matter if you're in Southeast Asia, South America, or Europe. If you're an expat, you're going to have to deal with visas, permits, registrations, renewals, all on forms that seem to come from another planet. Half of your new life will be standing in line, clutching photocopies of your passport while someone behind a desk tells you, you're missing Form 27B-6, and you need 3 more stamps from 3 different offices on the other side of town. By the time you finally get approved, your permit is already halfway to expiration. But you'll develop important new skills, like knowing which immigration officials like donuts, and how to look desperate enough that someone takes pity on you. Yeah, that does happen. I cried when the customs official wouldn't give me my kitties that had flown all the way from the US to Indonesia. And guess what? It worked. When he saw the tears, he gave me my kitties faster than you can imagine and sent me on my way. But yeah, culture shock slaps you in the face. Everyone thinks they're open-minded until culture shock hits like a brick to the forehead. Maybe it's the crazy way people drive. Maybe it's how personal space suddenly doesn't even exist, or how you can't find your favorite brand of peanut butter. And food. Let's talk food. Sure, you thought you'd love eating authentic cuisine every day. But fast forward 2 months, and you're sitting in your apartment whispering sweet nothings to a box of instant mac and cheese your mom mailed to you. Yeah, culture shock has defeated some of the most serious adventurers. And homesickness is real. It just sneaks in when you were least expecting it. At first, you'll feel invincible. Who needs home? You've got sunshine, adventure, and cheaper rent. But give it time. One day you'll wake up and desperately crave that greasy diner breakfast with bottomless coffee. Or you'll miss the weird comfort of hearing your own language all around you. And let's not forget the soul crushing fear of missing out when your friends back home post group photos from a party you couldn't attend because you live on the other side of the planet. Homesickness doesn't care if you're living in paradise. It'll show up uninvited and send your emotions into overload. You may have heard of the expat bubble. Is it a blessing or a curse? Yeah, those expat communities, at first, they're your lifeline, for sure. You find people who get your jokes, speak your language, and tell you where you can find that actual peanut butter. But give it a year, and suddenly you realize you're living in a weird bubble where the expats in that bubble complain about the locals, gossip about each other, and act like they're trapped in high school all over again. Some expats spend decades in this bubble and never really connect with the local culture. So you'll have to decide, do you dive in with locals or do you stay in the expat bubble wine club? Spoiler, either way, you're going to complain about it. And then surprise, money meltdowns do occur. Yes, life abroad can be cheaper, but don't let TikTok influencers fool you. There's always a catch. Currency exchange rates, they'll change just when you think you're doing well and have got it all figured out. Banking, prepare for fun times when your foreign debit card from back home gets eaten by the ATM and your local bank clerk doesn't understand why you're sobbing into your paperwork. Also, every expat has a horror story about transferring money from their home country and waiting for it longer than should be allowed. And then we've got healthcare. Healthcare can be full of adventure. Yeah, expat healthcare is a mixed bag. In some countries, you'll get excellent treatment at a fraction of the cost back home. In others, you'll walk into a clinic and wonder if you're starring in a horror movie. Then there's insurance. Do you buy local health insurance, go international, or just cross your fingers and hope you don't get appendicitis? Let's just say you'll quickly learn where the best hospitals are, and you'll also develop a newfound respect for anyone who manages chronic health issues abroad without losing their sanity. Yeah, loneliness. What about loneliness? It can lurk in every corner. This one doesn't get talked about enough. Moving abroad can be exciting, but it can also be lonely as hell. Your friends are now time zones away. Your family can't just drop by for coffee, and making new friends takes actual effort. Sure, you'll meet people, but connections can feel transient when every expat you know is also one who might leave next year. It takes guts to put yourself out there repeatedly and build a social circle from scratch. And you are going to be the forever tourist. You'll always stick out. Doesn't matter if you learn the language, marry a local, know the city better than Google Maps, you'll still be the foreigner. Some locals will treat you like a novelty, others like a walking ATM, and some like a permanent outsider. It's a weird limbo. You're not quite at home, but you're not really a visitor anymore either. It's both fascinating and exhausting. And what if you have tech troubles? They can send you to find a bridge to jump off. You think the internet is universal. Ha! Try explaining that to your local provider. Explain why you need high-speed internet for Zoom calls and watch them laugh while offering you a connection that collapses every time it rains. Oh, and don't forget streaming services. Half of what you watched back home is now mysteriously unavailable because of geographical licensing restrictions. Congratulations. You'll now become a VPN connoisseur. But let's talk about one of the main challenges that actually turns into a blessing. Yeah, I'm talking about identity crisis. Living abroad forces you to question who you are. The habits that defined you back home? Irrelevant now. Your sense of humor? Doesn't always translate. Your professional skills? Maybe valued, maybe not. You'll go through phases. Feeling like an adventurous trailblazer one day, and a confused mess the next. But the advantage? You'll realize eventually that being an expat isn't just about living in another country. It's about reinventing yourself into a person, the very person that you prefer. So now here's the final reality check. Moving abroad is not easy. No. It's thrilling, yes. Rewarding, absolutely. But easy, not a chance. Every expat I know has had days where they've asked themselves, what the hell am I doing here? I've had those days too, and that's normal. Oh, the challenges are real, don't get me wrong. You'll wrestle with visa paperwork, literally get lost in translation, and maybe even cry over the price of imported peanut butter in a foreign supermarket. But here's the kicker. All of that chaos, it's temporary. The bigger picture, you're trading the hamster wheel of same old, for a life that actually feels like living. You get new adventures, a fresh perspective, and a story that doesn't sound like every other cookie cutter suburban script back home. Honestly, half the fun of expat life is realizing you can handle things you never thought you could. Like opening a bank account in a language you barely speak, or navigating a bus system that looks like spaghetti on a map. And once you push through those messy beginnings, you realize why people rave about life abroad. The slower pace, the affordability, the freedom to redefine what your life looks like. It's all worth it. You stop measuring success by how many hours you logged in at work, and you start measuring it by sunsets, friendships, and maybe even the insane story you now have about that time you accidentally ordered cow's stomach instead of beef stew. That happens, believe me. The truth is, expat life doesn't eliminate challenges. It swaps the soul-sucking ones, like bills that keep you chained and routines that numb you, for the kind that make you stronger, sharper, and a whole lot more interesting at dinner parties. Yes, the challenges are real, but so are the rewards. You'll discover new strengths you didn't know you had, seeing the world from a totally different perspective. And yeah, occasionally sipping that Instagram worthy cocktail on the beach. So before you dive headfirst into the glossy dream of expat life, remember this: you're not escaping challenges, you're just swapping them out for new ones. Different packaging, same stress. But if you can laugh about it, roll your eyes, and keep moving forward, you might just find that expat life, challenges and all, is exactly what you needed. I'm an expat here in Indonesia, and I can tell you from firsthand experience that expat life is not boring. Challenging? Yeah, but not boring. And me, I'll take the challenges that come with cheaper rent and better food. Thanks. So I hope you enjoyed this little expose about what kind of challenges you might run into if you decide to become an expat. It's all worth it, believe me. Take care. Don't forget, subscribe and like if you had a good time on this little journey. Thanks. Bye for now. See you next time.